Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, or whenever you're watching this live. If you're watching on a replay, please do add in hashtag replay. If you're watching live, please introduce yourself so that I can read out your name. And if you've got any question for me or for our expert this today, please do let us know. And if you've got any question while replay, we would reply back as well. So this is, we've got around about 40 days or so to New Year. And 2020 has been a challenge, to put it mildly, for many of us. Even if you're doing good, it has been challenge on other counts of going out for dinner or meeting friends. Those would have been challenge as well. So what do you do? How do you turn this around so that it makes it a little bit easier for us to move around, to navigate the new normal, which we are in at the moment? So visualization is a tool, and many I struggle visualizing something. So that is why when you put certain things around your house or certain things which you see regularly, makes it more real, because your brain kind of registers, okay, if it's sitting there on this particular corner, it has to have some kind of value to it. So I am going to, that is why we display photos. That's why we display our credentials as well in business. So it is more of, when you look at it, something, you become that, or at least your brain starts registering. That is where vision board come into play. You can be architect of your life. Instead of complaining, instead of saying, oh, it doesn't work for me, and instead of going into self-fulfilling prophecy that, oh, you said it will work, but see, it didn't work. That's because your mind has not registered that it can work, because it's already negated that feeling of it can work. So vision boards, there are many ways you can do this, but today our expert is going to take us through on how this vision board can help us be that architect of our life, change that situation. If you have not watched The Secret, please do go and watch that. That explains a lot more in detail. But today's expert is going to give you a distilled versions of tips and tricks, and she's also got a workshop which is coming shortly as well. You can join her workshop, and I'll give you the link later in the episode. So who is our today's expert? Today's expert is Julie Leonard. She's a certified life coach and happiness evangelist with 30 plus years of psychology, health, and coaching experience. Along with her coaching practice, she's also founder of Sundak. I think it's, if I'm pronouncing it right, maybe I will ask her later. It's sundak.com, the creator of Intentional Happiness Circle and the host of a weekly online international women's happiness club. She's also author and best-selling author, for that matter, Intentional Happiness, the life-changing guide to being happy and staying happy. That's a problem. Being happy is one point, and staying happy is another challenge as well. So if we could manage that would be great. And she is so passionate about happiness and living life with intention and supporting women to feel happy and fulfilled. So men, if you're left out, don't be. Just go and speak to her. She would be happy to help. Please don't. There seem to be some kind of, oh, if it's women, I'm not joining. Most of my group is women, and I know a couple of guys who came in and then they are so quiet that they won't even talk. Like, what's the point? But anyway, that is what is. I'm going to bring her on screen. and let her introduce or let her talk about more than what she's given us in the bio. Hey, Julie, thanks for coming.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Good, I'm good. The sun is pouring in here, so it's a beautiful
Uh,
day.
it, you have escaped Scotland, I
I
must say.
have.
It's a bleak day. It's just raining and it's so cloudy and
Oh
it feels like, okay, I want to go back to bed again.
oh
So
dear,
tell
oh
us a
dear.
little.
I can empathize.
Oh, please, please. So who is Julie? Apart from the credentials, who is Julie, and how did she get into developing this women's circle for
Mm,
happiness, and also how did she end up doing vision boards?
mm. So let me give you a little history of me. Yeah, well, I am originally from Scotland, and I now live in Munich, Germany. And so, I guess to make a long story short, I grew up with a lot of negative thinking and a lot of limiting beliefs. I really grew up
Yeah,
alone
don't
in
we
my own
all?
head.
You know.
Yeah, yeah. I think we do. Everyone to a degree does, and there's so many influences on us, our culture, our society, our parents, school, friends, that over the years take us to a point where often that thinking can be very limiting and keeps us stuck or keeps us from going for what we want. And
Mhm.
so I'm, yeah, that's what happened to me. I was really struggling with like not feeling good enough, not feeling I had an opinion, nothing worth sharing, and many other things about how I look and all these things. So it was no surprise I went on to study psychology at university. I was like, okay, I'm going to go and sort all this out. And I was really drawn to it, I think like many psychologists are. And I studied
Yeah.
psychology in Glasgow. And I was all intent on going down the path of being a psychologist. And then, when I left university, I wanted to get more experience. I started working actually in the voluntary sector in mental health services. And I loved it. I loved that I could like go into people's homes and talk to them, spend time with them and work with them. And I was seeing lots of people who were really struggling, who were, in the eyes of like services, kind of like, they were fine, but actually were just existing. They weren't living life. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this needs to change. And when I would ask people what it is they wanted, invariably they would say, I want to be happy. And I'd be like, well, what does that mean? Let's look at it. We break down everything into like goals and small steps. I was coaching. It just wasn't called coaching way back then because I'm going back over
Yeah.
like 25 lots of years. So I'm really
Yeah.
quite old. So
Oh, tell me about it. I feel it.
much older. I'm really lucky. I mean, I've got to do something for over 30 years that I'm really passionate about. And I think I'm even more passionate now. So I'm so fortunate in that. But that sort of sparked my journey into happiness. And then when I moved here to Germany about 7 years ago, I really wanted to keep working with people and working for myself. So it was a natural continuation to create my coaching business. And I'm really about, my concept's all about intentional happiness. So what that means is about really taking a proactive approach to your life. I do believe, and I think there's plenty of research to back this up, that a lot of our happiness is within our control. At least 50% is within our control. That's what the
Oh,
statistics
more
say.
than
And
that.
actually,
More than that.
we can actually argue that more than that is. And so I'm really, over the years, I've cultivated a lot of tools to help people unlock that negative thinking, get rid of those limiting beliefs, really work on their thinking. And so I've discovered over these years so many powerful tools that are really simple, yet really effective, and they work on many different important scientific levels, particularly neuroplasticity, which is the ability to change our brains, to change those neural pathways and connections. And so if you do something repeatedly over and
Mhm.
over, you form neural pathways that get stronger and denser. And that happens with things that are negative, negative
Mhm.
things that we do. But also we can do that with positive things. And the more we concentrate on something that's positive, the more the negative stuff weakens, those neural pathways weaken. And so things like visualization, and therefore a form of that, vision boards, is a really powerful way for us to really work on those neural pathways and to really form positive connections in our brain that really help change our brains into a much more positive way of thinking. But it's also a way for us to become more proactive in our life, to get clarity on what we want, and then help us move forwards in that. So it's step one in my intentional happiness circle, and in the book that I've written. This is stage one. Like, it helps you get clear on what you want, and it helps you align with what it is that you really truly want in life. And we'll go into that more as we talk, but that's in a nutshell how I've got to this point.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you. So what do you mean by neuroplasticity, and how do you convert? It seems to be more scientific and a psychological term. How do you translate that into a micro level or macro level of, like, what's day to day, how does that translate into?
Yeah, so it's really about everything we do. The brain has to make connections so that it remembers things and we keep doing something. So often, for many of us, if we have a habit or something that we do repeatedly, whether it's positive or negative, we are making those connections and then we strengthen them. So, like, the most obvious example of, not everyday people, but the Buddhist monks that spend all their time with the Dalai Lama and meditate on loving kindness meditation, they have done tens of thousands of hours. But when they scan their brains, the part of their brain that is, everything here is in the prefrontal cortex. Part of their brain, the part of the brain that we have that focuses on, like, happiness and positive emotions and kindness, compassion, the good stuff, that part of their brain was massive. Yeah. And it was really dense with neural connections compared to, like, probably if you scanned you or me, who I'm sure you do some, it would be there, but it's not to that degree. But that emphasizes that if you really work on something and you repeatedly do something, then those neural pathways form and they strengthen and they deepen, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so what's important about that is that the brain is not fixed. And I meet so many people that are believing, like, this is who I am, this is how I think, this is how I feel, this is who I am. And what I would say is, like, no, there is just so much power in you to change who you are. I mean, I'm all about, like, accepting parts of you. I always think you should be, like, imperfectly perfect, like you accept things in yourself that are just part of your uniqueness. But if there's parts of you, like your thinking or your habits, that you feel are holding you back, or they're stopping you being the best version of yourself, then that's the stuff that we want to work on, that we want to build upon, and we want to change. And neuroplasticity tells us that we can do it. I'm going to have to, this is live. I need to plug my laptop in. I'm so sorry. That's the one cable I have.
Don't worry. Go for it.
I'm a human being. I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second.
Don't worry. I know it's not going to be easy. This is to convert what neuroplasticity, what I understood from Julie's talk is, I think we can relate to. You've been, this is one story which I tell repeatedly. My aunt used to live just near me, and I used to go to hers every day. She lived there 30 years. Not that I was going to hers for 30 years, but about 2 years or so, I've been going in this route to hers. And then she moved to Glasgow, which is about 30 miles from my place. One day I said, oh, I'm coming. And halfway through, I had to pass through the same route. And then at one point, I had to take a left and take the motorway. Instead, I just went straight on, went all the way to Broxburn and to her house. stopped the car and then realized Auntie doesn't live here. She lives in Glasgow. I need to turn around. This is the common day-to-day thing which we do, which is so ingrained in us. Even for the shortest amount of time, you can change your brain just like that. You're not go in an autopilot, not firefight, not being not being intentional, or however way you put it. It's like when you do certain things, you have to be intentional. You have to have that focus and being in that moment. And I think these visualization tools are just training our brain, which is trained differently by the society, by the upbringing, by the friends. Most of the time, we all have this. Not that they are bad in any way or form, but that's what they knew at that point. But that's not helping us. It helped them in one way or other. Maybe it doesn't. But we don't have to be that. We don't have to be what other people are labeling us with. But there are certain situations you can't handle. There are other ways to do that as well. So it's all about visualizing that. There are many stories out there who have changed the cancer and they went into remission. They're living long life and who've been given things saying, "Oh, you can't do anything more than that." That's been. I think that's how I relate to this very complex term of neuroplasticity of in our head. Sorry,
no.
I just wanted to fill the time.
And it's also really important because
I'm not an expert. I'm telling you.
You are. You're super. The brain generally doesn't really differentiate between real and imagined experience. So this is what's important. So if you know what happens when we feel stressed, when we feel anxious, this is happening a lot just now because of the pandemic, because of all the layers of stress that you introduced at the beginning. You talked about that. You know, like when we're really stressed, we are thinking about the what ifs, what could happen. We're imagining a lot. And I imagine right now, many people are worried about their lives, their livelihood, Christmas, their business, so much. Yeah. And so if you spend your time thinking about this is what happens, you have run those scenarios, then your brain is kind of going, well, that's what just happened. So what we want to do is harness that, but harness that in a positive way, which is that if you are visualizing and focusing on the stuff that you want, then you're more likely to attract that. And there's different steps about why that works as well. If you want, I can explain that part too. But first and foremost, the power of your brain is incredible. You know, they did, there's like loads of like amazing studies done on like the power of just visualizing something. So like, there was one research I read where they took two groups of people, and one group, they had to like exercise with a little weight, their little finger, like for like 3 months, 5 minutes a day for 3 months. And the second group, they had to like visualize that. They had to really imagine, you know, moving their finger. They did that. They didn't move it. They just thought about it. And at the end of it, they tested the strength in their finger. And the first group that were actually exercising, they increased the strength by 53%. So they had a super strong pinky. And then the second group, they increased their strength by 35% just by thinking about it. I mean, that just blows my mind. I think that's amazing. So, you know, there's so much, and you're illustrating that as well. Yeah, there's a lot of vast evidence about people who visualize that overcome very severe illnesses and different conditions. So, you know, there's so much really, like once you start going into that, it's incredible. But if you can take this power and use a tool like a vision board to harness that, I mean, again, it's something so simple, but there is a real reason. It's not like, you know, put up some pictures and like you'll be rich or you'll have a big car or whatever it is you put up. There's like a real science behind that. And that's some of what we've already spoken about, you know. If you think about
it, is not woo-woo as what many people think. They think it's a woo-woo. It is really not. that woo. If you know, I've got to tell the story. I've been telling the story. This is during the COVID period, right? At Edinburgh Zoo, one of my friend's daughter, she wanted to go to zoo, and she wanted to see. I don't know whether it's a polar bear or penguin. I don't know which one of that, because they come every year in a cycle. So my friend was telling this girl, she's 7 years old, she's how old is she? 6 years old. Sorry, that's they just celebrated her birthday. Yeah, 6 years old. She was telling, I was there, I was walking through, and we were chatting away over the fence on that day, and she was saying, I want to take Julie to Andrea to the zoo, because she's been asking to go. I don't know how far she's going to be disappointed if she doesn't see polar bear in the zoo. And then she comes out and says, Mommy, polar bear is there, I know it. And she's so convinced that polar bear is there in that zoo, and she's not wavering from that thought of she can't see a polar bear. She's not wavering. Her mother tried to pacify her. Dad is trying to pacify. I didn't say anything. I was just smiling because I didn't want her to say anything. And then she calls me, and in the evening after they came back from the zoo, she called me and she said, Siddha, do you know? Andrea was right, because that polar bear was there.
Wow. Yeah.
That's the difference. As we grow older, we kind of miss that we cannot visualize stronger because of the society programming and things which are in the name of, I just want to be realistic.
Absolutely.
I hate that phrase. I hate that phrase. I really, I'm not saying you should not be realistic, you should be dreamer. That's not my point. My point is you don't have to be realistic. You can make your reality and say, yeah, that is realistic. So that's where I feel vision boards come into play as well.
Yeah, and I think
so talk me through what is the process one should take to create a vision board, or can we do it in a digital way? I am more of a digital person.
Absolutely. Just before I start, if I could just share one thing I think it's really important, is just, and it relates to what you said there, but one of the reasons vision boards really work is that we are bombarded by information all day, every day. If you think the amount of information that our brains are taking in every second of the day,
even if you're not watching the TV, if you're not doing many negative things,
just within your house, or you're out going for a walk or anything, the amount of information our brains take in is phenomenal. So your brain has to filter stuff so that you're not, our brains would just, it's not going to work. So our brain's got to filter stuff. So if you focus on things that are negative, you look for things, you will find those things. But if you look for things that are positive, or things that are in alignment with what you want, you will start to see them. So we have blind spots. That's what we call them. An example would be like, this happens all the time. You're having a chat with your friend and she says, oh, have you seen the latest movie, that's come out with, I don't know who's famous now, Leonard DiCaprio or something. And you go, no, I haven't even heard of that. Oh, it looks fantastic. I really want to go and see it. And then after that call, you see an advert for the movie, and then you start to see the poster and you're like, and then you go, I can't believe that. I was just having a chat the other day with my friend and she mentioned that and I'd not heard of it. Yeah.
You would not believe the same thing happened to me a couple of days ago. Okay. One of my coaching clients, she's also my friend. She said, Sudha, you should have this tagline of, I am not a techie, get me out of here.
You'll sign up to that one.
That's exactly what Gas said. I'm not as because she took it from I'm not a celebrity, get out of
Mhm.
here, to I'm not a techie, get me out of here. That should be your tagline, so that would get you more visibility, because
Yeah.
people register that phrase quite and remember that phrase as well. So she was saying that. Immediately I go on a Facebook after the session finishes. I go on a Facebook, and there was another person who has put that, do you see what it is? And I'm a celebrity, get me out of here, that poster, I see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I switch on the TV. I don't have TV as such, but I've got YouTube on that TV. So in that, there is a thumbnail with the same, I'm not a celebrity.
Wow. Yeah.
So weird, isn't it?
Yeah. But what it is like that stuff's there. But if you don't know you want to look for that, your brain's like, oh, she doesn't need that. She's thinking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what's important, that when we want to achieve our goals, when we want to create a life for ourselves, if you don't know what you want and you're not actively thinking about it, your brain's not going to see stuff. You're going to miss so much because your brain's giving you other stuff. So if you are only thinking about, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here, that's all you see. And you're not thinking there's a business opportunity, because your brain's going, no, but this is really important. You like this stuff, you know? So that's what happens. Yeah, but it happens all the time. And you'll have loads of stories, and I'm sure everyone listening today has loads of stories where like they got clear on something, a business idea, thinking about an opportunity, who they want to collaborate with, and then something happens, they get that call, they end up connecting with someone, they say to somebody, how many times have you said, I'm thinking about that, like your friend did that, you say something and then they go, oh, well, actually, I know somebody, and you start connecting, and before you know it happens, you think, wow, this is what happens. And this is why a vision board works, because you get clear on what it is that you want. This is where the intentional part comes in. You create those images so that you see them every day, and your brain every day goes, okay, this is what we're looking for. This is the important stuff. And when you go out there, you're open to opportunities and possibilities, and you're talking to people, and, and that's why it comes, that law of attraction happens. That's what law of attraction is. That's not woo-woo, that's intention. Yeah.
Yeah. So from what you're saying, this is what I'm hearing. It's also whenever you see it, you've got to have that intentional thought of, yeah, I can achieve that. That's not a problem. That's not just an image which is sitting there. You've got to have that conversation. Sometimes you do talk to a photograph. You do talk to I talk to my computer all the time.
Even if I'm not here, you're still chatting.
Categoric. That's me. It's just it does talk to me back as well sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, especially the negative things. So what happens is when you see with that intention, with that feeling that, yeah, I can achieve that, that's not a problem, it's not just sitting there, you kind of go, so say, yeah, that can happen. So my question here is, do we need to do a vision board every year, or can we pass on? Sometimes you have a goal which is not been, at least you're halfway through, but you're not achieved it. That's a progress, by the way. Or sometimes you think, oh, that's not serving me anymore. That whatever I put it 2 years ago, it's not what I want right now. So can I just change the vision board, or do I need to do a new one? How do I connect my neurology to that vision board of saying, okay, I don't want that now. Now I want this. I want to replace that thought of what I wanted 2 years ago is not serving me anymore. So how do I, not that I achieved it, but that doesn't serve me. I don't like it anymore. It could be boyfriend. Oh, I don't want that boyfriend. I want a new one.
I'll take that celebrity off. I've changed my mind. I want to marry him. Yeah, that kind of thing. I mean, I like to do them every year. That seems to work for me. But you can choose and do whatever you like. You can chop and change those images. Sometimes you might tire of that image. You might feel like I've looked at it too much. You have achieved that goal and it happened. That you change your mind on something and you think that's actually not a priority. I want to do this. So you can review, you can redo it as often as you want, or you can leave it there for a while, or you can take images out and put new ones on, or you might see something, you know, like one of mine, I think I sent you some pictures, didn't I? So one of mine's got like, it said that's what triggered mine was one of my last ones was, it said, I opened a magazine, it said, welcome to my office. And it was an island. And I was like, oh, I'll have that one, you know, and then I have images of houses that I always want to live in. But then like, you know, I was recently looking through a magazine and I was like, oh, a beautiful image of a beach house came up. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I might want to have that as something, you know? So, here we go. This was one of the ones that I did. So like, what kicked it off was, that's what I saw was step into my office. And I was like, absolutely, that's where I'm going. And I like that. So that was one that I did. And so there's different ways of doing them. So, you know, you can simply just draw, your hand draw or write words. Like I've done ones that are just really simple where I've just written, you know, with bubbles around them, you know, me in the middle and then like all the things that I want. This is one where traditionally we've done it where you sit with like lots of magazines. So if you come to one of my in-person workshops, which before COVID time we would do, we would spend time looking through magazines, and they work really well on two levels. One is you can look for particular images that fit in with what you're looking for. But also if you're not sure about everything, what I get people to do is just take out anything that it calls to them, you know? And I've had so many cases where people have done a vision board and it's turned out completely different from what they thought it would be. You know, they come in thinking, I'm going to look for this. Like I had someone who was like, I really need to think about a job. And at the end, it was just pictures of gardens she had. And she realized that she wasn't ready for a job. She wanted to be in horticulture and she wanted to spend time doing that, but that might lead to a job, you know? Or like I had someone who ended up with, you know, she felt that her family was complete, but all the pictures she pulled out were of 5 people, you know, 3 kids and the couple. And she's like, didn't know I wanted another child, you know? So like, it's amazing what comes out, that things call to you. So sometimes that helps you. So I do like that very simple sitting with a pile of magazines and see what words leap out or what images. So you can do that traditionally. And that's what I did. That was, you know, that was a kind of, you know, home is very important to me. Work is important. Up another corner was like exercise and sort of more like taking care of myself. Style, I like that sort of elegance and style, you know. Kate Blanchett, I liked her. The new cars in there, which I still don't have, but you know, there's a new car in there. And like I had a huge, and I saw that lovely picture of the Highland cow. And I think that really for me was, I mean, I live in Germany. I live with an Italian man. So I was like, how do I navigate those different lives that I have, you know, where, you know, balancing my Scottish roots and, you know, going home to Scotland and balancing life of going to Italy and also living in Germany and stuff. So like that was stuff that I put on, and there was travel in there. So that's what I did. So you can certainly sit with like nice magazines and pull out lots of images and see what calls to you. And it's amazing how that fits together. And sometimes there's surprises and sometimes it's exactly what you thought. But you can also do it electronically. You can do it online. And I think we're more and more moving towards that. Even physically having magazines is harder. Most people have online subscriptions and stuff.
I am finding it challenging as well. I keep one of my friend, if you watched, that's she came on the first episode. I learned about art journaling from her, how to journal, and I've got someone else coming and talking about journaling and other things, and how you put together. So when she was talking about the similar things which you do, but from the artistic point of view, from the writing out, you know, kids draw, you ask them, I don't know where we lose all of this creativity as we grow older. It should get intensified, not disappear. For some
actually, it's essential.
yeah, they seem
Yeah.
to disappear. All the good things seem to disappear when we grow, which is sad.
Well, we often see them as
So
silly, don't we? We often think these are
yeah,
childish or not. And actually, in my happiness club this week, that's what we spoke about, was like a lot of those things that are good for you are actually seen as silly or childish, but actually they're not.
or
So like
simple.
simple, but get your coloring books out, get your paints out, dance around your living room, whatever. Those things are so good for us. And sitting down and doing this kind of stuff is very, very important, and it works. That's why I keep coming back to like telling you the evidence, the research, the science. It's not just like, so a lot of people would struggle to say I'm going to spend an afternoon cutting out pictures out of a magazine, but it's not. This is goal setting at its best and most effective.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. It's about goals. So if you could picture speaks more than words. Picture does have very. We don't dream about words. We dream about in pictures.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just imagine dreaming the words. I might dream the words. I never know.
But we're very visual
always
people,
there's a
aren't we?
theme.
Human beings are visual, and
Yeah.
we respond
That's
to
how
visual cues.
we can do. That's
Yeah.
why eyesight is more important than anything else. A person can lose the smell, they can lose the taste, but for people to losing the sight is the very worst thing anyone could have. Unlike being born that way, it's so sad that we lose all of this. We don't think intentionally. I think that's the right way to put it. We are not proactive. We seem to firefight. Yesterday was my firefighting day. I've been whatever I've done, it seems like I was taking 3 steps backwards, and that's been, I was like, please get me out of here. was my thought. But we do. There are. It's not going to be all days are not going to be perfect.
Of course not. I don't live in a happiness bubble. I'm not like every minute's happy. Of course, life happens. Definitely.
Yeah, that is delusional. Say, okay, I'm going to be perfect every time. My day, just because I put the vision board there, that I'm going to be this all the time. It's not. It's about the intentional. When you said 5 minutes, 5 minutes a day, where they were doing the pinky exercise, it's only 5 minutes a day for 21 days or whatever, how many days that was. You don't have to be. That 5-minute intention can give you a longer benefit than 24 hours of unintentional monkey mind thing, going from one to another to another to another, and your brain is so tired to make a coherent thought out of that monkey mindedness of jumping from one to another. Okay,
absolutely.
So now I'm going to we're already in 30 minutes. I love this subject.
Let's go into absolutely. To answer your other question, you can definitely do it electronically, and that's like my next workshop. I'm going to teach people how to do it on the computer, and I think you've got an image of that as well. Like I started doing that too, and I've loved experimenting with that. As I say, I come from that classic cut things out, but actually I've really enjoyed that process of creating what often are all very aesthetically beautiful vision boards as well, that then you can have, as your screensaver, and so like every day you see that, or you can get a print done, just print it off and put it up somewhere. And actually you might find it beautiful, or put it in a frame and put it up, whatever works for you, put it above your desk so that you're constantly, as long as you see that I always say, like, take it as a screensaver. I think it's actually, I've still got my older one there because I just love that picture. But, that's what I have on my phone, that you just have like a little, if you can see, like my screensaver, how many times you touch your phone every day, so like you're constantly seeing it. I'm constantly seeing these are things that trigger me. This is what I'm in line for. This is what I'm looking for. Yeah,
that's very, and it's also, you can put note of it. It doesn't matter even if you're writing it down and putting it on. It is about the intention. It's about reminding your brain not to go on an autopilot, reminding your brain to be intentional about whenever you see that, you become that. Oh, that's wonderful. So how you can do it on
Yeah.
digitally, like
Yeah.
Canva or
Yeah.
PowerPoint or
There's a lot
uh,
anywhere where you can find like a collage, anywhere that lets you create collages. So there are, Canva
I mean,
has
there are so
it.
many apps
There's
on the phone as well.
loads. Yeah, I think the one that I sent to you that I did, that was on PhotoJet. Just finding places where you can get some nice images and then you can make collages. That's all you need to do. You decide like how many pictures you want. And then just searching for pictures. And again, you will like look for stuff and have an idea and then you find something. I ended up with
Oh,
mine, like I wanted to have like blue as well. So I ended up having like nice blue colors and nice images and what was truly important to me and what I wanted to focus on. So they can look really, really fantastic, the electronic ones, or the electronic,
yeah,
the generative
I
ones.
don't know whether you know this. There is website called Unsplash. It is a
Uh-huh.
photographic website. You can it doesn't have, if you're using it for personal, you don't have to
Mm.
give the credit or anything for them, or Flickr um, as well. That works. And Unsplash is one of the place where they've got beautiful pictures
Mm-hmm.
of man, women, family, baby, and all sort of
Yeah,
things.
there's
But
a
the
lot. And
next
if you're
one,
not, sorry, excuse me. Yes.
so the other one is Pixabay. That
Yes.
also you can use. You can use it in your sesh. Pixabay has got quite a few free images as well. You don't
Yeah.
have to buy them. I think you can even, if you're only doing it for commercial, personal work, you can download with the book. What about the Watermark as well? It doesn't show up that much. You're not
Yeah.
selling anywhere, you're just using it for your benefit.
Mhm.
So it is possible.
Yeah,
Oh,
if
brilliant.
you're not going to use it and promote it or share it on the internet,
Yeah,
then you don't have to get royalty-free images. You can use like
yeah,
your own photographs, like the one I sent you, the computer one, like had like one of my own
yeah.
photos
let
in it
me
because I
let
had
me
like
bring that one.
family is important. But then I just
Yeah,
found other images. But that's not going anywhere. I'm
yeah,
not promoting that anywhere. So like, or I might show it in my group, but then I did use royalty-free images. But you can just
yeah,
search for anything or use pictures that you have, or yeah,
yeah,
just there's loads around. So if you're not putting it out there, just you can use anything safely.
yeah,
But yeah, just have a look. It's so powerful because it helps you align and be more intentional about the goals that you have and what's important in your life.
mhm.
And it does plant suggestions and keep your mind open and focused on.
Yeah,
Oh, there you go.
this
There's
is
mine.
one of the
So mine ended
things.
up
Yeah,
like I kind of
yeah.
started going into like all the blues, but yeah, that's us in the bottom left. That's my family. So family is
Ah,
like really important. So like spending quality time, making space for that. The other one is my business. Obviously, that's always there. I love reading, friendship. Just that kind of represents the cup and the cake. Well, apart from I just love
yeah,
tea and cake anyway, being Scottish.
yeah,
It's like just that sort of me time, that downtime, always creating like a really beautiful home and what I need to do to keep working on my home. And like sunshine, nature. These were the things that came up for me. Like this is like some of the goals that I wanted to create. You can make it bigger than that, but this was like
yeah,
I think some of that was about having that work-life balance and what do I need to do or what's important to me to feel good in myself. So I've been very intentional about my diet this year. I love reading and wanting to focus more time on reading. So that
yeah,
gives you an idea of what it looks like, but that's, they're really effective. And then as long as you have it somewhere that you're constantly seeing every day, so your brain's going, oh, okay, that's what I'm going to look for today. That's
yeah.
what you want to do. Yeah.
And that's wonderful. So, tell us about this event which you've
Sure.
got
Yeah, so I mean, I would
coming.
love to invite
This
you
is the
onto it. Yeah,
event.
it's going.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so. I'm going to run this workshop for you. It's 3 hours long. It's going to be in January. I thought that was just a really great time. Like, it gets too busy now to think about it, but I would use this sort of 6 weeks before the end of the year to start thinking and reflecting on what went well, what did you achieve this year, what did you not achieve this year. But I think
yeah,
middle of January is great. I call it a beat Blue Monday and get intentional. So, we have
yeah,
this day in the middle of January where everything just feels a bit hard, doesn't it? The weather's rubbish, Christmas is over, We've probably not
You're
got
in
any money
trouble.
left. We've eaten too much, and it's dark. But
And
researchers
it's
have said like,
also another place where, okay, this is the start of the month. I need to get this
yeah.
year sorted.
And
That
sometimes
is
that can feel
also,
quite daunting, like, oh gosh, what have I got to do? What energy do I need? Will it really work? And so I think it's just a great time to say, right, I'm going to get intentional about what I want to do this year. And so I'll walk you through like a lot of the science behind it, why it works. We'll go into more detail about that. I'll do a
yes.
guided visualization with you so you start to get clarity on what your goals are. And then I'll show you how to do it. And we'll spend time together getting those images and creating your beautiful vision board. So by the end of it, you understand why it works. You're totally in the zone. You're like, right, this is what I'm doing for this year. You've got real clear intention about the year ahead. And you've got your vision board completed for you to then put on your computer or print off and look at every day.
So is this a paid event? Yeah.
Yes, it's a paid workshop. Yeah.
Yeah, paid workshop. It's on Zoom as
Yeah,
well.
it's all on Zoom. We're all online. So.
Yeah, 16th of January between it's 8 o'clock, isn't it, for us if it's a
It'll be
GMT?
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Yeah, just
9
1 hour
o'clock.
different. So 9 till 1. 9 till 12, sorry, excuse me.
Yeah.
So we'll kick off the morning and we'll get by lunchtime, you will know exactly what you're doing for the rest of the year and you'll be totally aligned with that.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you very much. And now let's talk something. It's a rapid fire round where I will be firing 5 questions to you. It's not too personal, but it's just fun. So the question number 1, are you a tea or a coffee person?
Tea.
Straight
in there. Straight in there. I know that for sure.
Only the last person said coffee.
I have a huge tea cupboard. Huge tea cupboard.
What is your favorite holiday destination?
Anywhere in Italy. At the moment, we spend a lot of time in Italy. So my partner comes from Rome. So I love going there. I'll never tire of that city.
I love Rome.
And then heading to the beach for a while as well. So anywhere that's hot and sunny in particular. The sunshine and the sea, anywhere by the water. I love warm water, just to be clear on that. It's going to be warm.
Not the cold one.
Not the North Sea.
So what is your are you a book person or a movie, TV, or just I want to go shopping? What type of person are you?
Books. I love books, and I really do love still a good paper book, the actual physical book. And I read avidly. I have since I was a child. I read constantly as a child, and I commit to reading 1 nonfiction book per month. And I've actually been reading almost 2 per month this year. Plus, I've always got some other like book I want to read on the go. And then I do have a Kindle for in bed at night. And I usually read some sort of chick lit, easy, escape the world, unwind for the nighttime.
I do listen to nonfiction. I don't buy nonfiction books anymore if I can help it. If they don't have an Audible, I might go and buy. And someone said, "Oh, that's a good book. Go and buy it." I might, but otherwise, I don't buy physical book. But I do listen to at least 3-4 books a month.
Great.
So it's okay. I've got so many of them as well. I can go and repeat.
I've got a stack of books to get through always. Like, I really want to read that one and that one.
It just adds up anyway if you don't download. And you've got. I've had it since 2003, so. I've got quite a lot of book in my library there as well, so it's easier. Some of them are like 6-7 hours. You can't listen to unless you drive. These days I don't drive that much, so you kind of got to limit that into going away from shops or going for a walk. Those are the time I listen to them.
Lovely.
As well. Thank you very much. What was your breakfast this morning?
Oh,
I know
I had a cup of tea and I Didn't have anything particularly. I had a chocolate brioche and a cup of tea for breakfast this morning.
Oh, that's good. That's
Delicious.
good. All I had was coffee. Thank you.
Breakfast
Really,
is a
thank you
good
very
thing.
much.
You're most
Yeah,
welcome.
it is a
Thanks so
good thing.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really
Thank you
enjoyed
very
chatting
much
to
for
you.
coming. Yeah, it was fun. Yes, I was thinking, okay, what can we do for 20 minutes? And it was like it's almost 51 minutes or something like that. Not talking.
Put two Scottish
And
people
what
together, we'll
else?
chat for hours.
Oh yeah. um, so after the session, you can go and you are in my group as well. So if you could, I don't know, I've invited you. Did I invite you? Yeah, you are. So you can put your details there. There are a few people who asked. I think a couple of them at least asked, "Oh, is there going to be a replay?" I said, so you can put your social media accounts, and this will be on the YouTube as well. I'll send you the YouTube link if you want to just go and subscribe and be there as well. I'll be running a promotion tomorrow on this as well. So if people are wanting, you can chat with them. Thank you very much, and I will finish this off and then carry this on. Otherwise, I'll be here all day.
Well, thanks so much for having me, and it's great. And yeah, anyone get any questions, they can contact me anytime if they want to find out anything or ask more about the event. Okay.
Yep, that's good. Thank you. Hey everyone, hopefully you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed, and I do do vision board, but I am not consistent with it. I don't do it every month. I just do it every year. I do one and I start replacing that with other things. And I do the digital one. I don't do the physical one. So you can go to this event. It is always better to have someone, because it makes it like you're taking the time out and you're doing that. When you start doing it on your own, even though we think these vision boards are so very personal, we kind of get to that stage where, I'm not comfortable with it, or I don't want to do this. So all of this come about. So that is exactly what a person who is giving the instruction to your vision board could be, because there is you're doing things intentionally that intensifies your you achieving that goal. And also you've got a group of people who encourage you, that positive energy working out, even on the online. Yeah, when you have the same kind of people showing it up and putting things up, that is so online vision boarding exercise would be a lot better than in workshop as well, in person workshops. Again, there's a different kind of energy which goes in. You can be more personal. You can put things up. You don't want to show something, you don't have to show online as well. So please do get in touch with Julie if you want to attend her 16th of January event. And I will see you all in the next episode. The next episode is all about, if you're a business people, how can you apply for awards and how can you win those awards, and that would increase your credibility and authority and all of that. So I've got Rachel coming. She is an awards person or awards consultant. I met her 2 years ago. So all of a sudden I remembered, I should speak to Rachel and get her on my show. So that is what next Wednesday is going to be. Rachel will be on. And after that, I've got someone coming to do the storytelling. And after that, I'm speaking to someone. She would be coming on to do journaling, provided she has got time. There's quite a few things coming. And this season is finishing 23rd of December. That's 13th episode on that day. So it'll be interesting the next year with a new season as well. Thank you very much. And I'll see you all next week. Bye for now.